So Saleor is a composable e-commerce platform generally targeted towards developers, and we've realized that the e-commerce market, that their developers are severely underserved. The current standard is something like Shopify, BigCommerce, and things like that that are quite hard and difficult and more rigid for developers to use since they're generally closed source. So something like Saleor, there's a need from the market for them, for Saleor, and we're here to kind of fill that gap at the moment. And yeah, our target customers are varies in terms of management. It could be head of digital, CTOs, digital transformation, DevOps and SREs, and generally what we actually sell is obviously the cloud product on top of our open source. And that generally helps with reduced maintenance, updates, much more security. You also get an extension of your team around solution architecture. It is really just sales and partnerships. My responsibilities are to deal across the inbound, look at our open source, deal with clients who want to go and explore our cloud solution, and then we go take them through the whole process where we help them get up and running, understand their solution architecture, and then try to get all the right people in the room and to understand what kind of commercial agreement we can make for a long-term relationship that makes sense for their business. I worked at some other companies in the DevTool space, and simply just trawling through some of the GitHub stars, GitHub forks. We didn't actually have any clear software that would do that in any scalable way and in a way that we can also measure and see things quite clearly. So that was quite difficult. There's very limited information that you can get sometimes from just a GitHub, but when you kind of combine that information with different data sources, you can get a decent idea of really companies and that are actually using us. So that was tremendously valuable when I came across Saleor. But really in the past, it was just trawling through the GitHub and trying to create lists, and then finding additional information maybe on LinkedIn if I could. Yeah, it was quite, I suppose, esoteric, but now I feel like I'm a bit more in the future with Reo. So. I was using tools in general to like Apollo. There's also like Lusha, and there's LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Yeah, quite basic in terms of how we were kind of approaching it, because we're quite early days in our sales and go-to-market function at the moment anyway. So, but still though, like we have a massive open source, and that was quite laborious at times. Using other tools like Discord as well to just like see who's saying what. But like again, that could slide by in some sort of chats. Measuring the frequency of individual users is quite difficult. All that data is all siloed. It was difficult piecing all that together. We looked at Common Room, and I was taken through their sales process. The pricing wasn't that transparent in the end. I thought it was a lot cheaper from looking at it on the outside, and then for the additional things like integrations to HubSpot, there was an extra €10,000 to add on to that, which was double the price then, which wasn't transparent. I mean, it looked like I had a million things that we didn't really need, and I felt like I'd be paying for a full platform when I wouldn't be using probably about 70% of these features. So from that point, it didn't look like it made sense from the outside. So there's two things there. Why I chose Reo. So it was referred to me by a past colleague, as I mentioned, and I spoke to Piyush. I guess he was heading up the sales part there, and I really found that conversation to be very insightful. Definitely cared quite a lot about what we were trying to achieve, and repeated a lot of that back to me, which I really appreciated. And I guess we didn't really feel that from other solutions when we were in the kind of sales process. So I guess as a salesperson myself, I definitely really appreciated that. And yeah, and then what it really removed for us was really just laborious spreadsheets of piling in multiple data sources into one and trying to figure that out. And a big thing for us is trying to figure out the ICP, and this has kind of changed things for us in terms of how we think about ICP. There's a lot of we wanted to go after kind of small to mid market, and we have a lot of large enterprises using us as well, and a lot of quite different businesses outside of just web shop e-commerce that are using us for a myriad of ways, and that's really had a massive impact on our ICP. And seeing that come in through Reo.Dev on the regular is confirming a lot of these beliefs or hypotheses around who and why we should be targeting them. How we use Reo.Dev is we track all of our GitHub repositories. We were going to track kind of competitors, but we will use that at a separate time, because it's quite a lot of data and it's very valuable data. Right now we just need to track our own because we have quite a big GitHub repository. So we can see people who are using us across, discovery, evaluation, if they're building a POC, and if they're deployed. So I can see then at each point, who can I approach and how can I approach them. So if they're earlier in the funnel, that would be a different approach then to them building a POC versus being deployed. If they're building a POC, then we would offer some sort of solution architectural help, and it would really just be really help based. And then if they're deployed, then I'd be reaching out to their leadership around Saleor Cloud and how that can actually reduce costs on maintenance and manpower overhead as well. And then how we're reaching out at the moment. It's quite simple. We're using some Apollo sequences, and then we are mainly using just kind of LinkedIn. It's kind of hard to measure on LinkedIn, but being a one-man sales team, it still helps a bit. And yeah, it's been tremendously helpful there. So yeah, we're definitely being able to prospect a whole lot better. Right now, we're trying to lean on marketing as more of the scalable side of things, especially around advertising. So how we're going about that is ABM and ABS campaigns. We'll identify some key accounts across Reo and target a bunch of targeted advertising around Saleor Cloud and the benefits of that to a lot of the deployed or even POC companies as well. And yeah, that's really helped in getting in some conversations. In terms of our metrics, it's probably increased around like 20% so far in terms of meetings per month. But since we are quite limited on as a very small team, one marketing person and one salesperson, we expect that to grow tremendously once we start to scale our team. We've been using Reo for probably about 7 months, I think. Still early days. We plan to have Reo long term. We've all agreed, even my CEO and or all of the leadership of my company have all agreed as well that this will be a pivotal part of our go-to-market function. It's the only thing where we actually have like clear visibility into our open source, and that is the main driving factor in our growth journey at the moment. And they are where the best leads are. So having a very refined and targeted approach there is really the way forward, and the tool to do that is Reo. I haven't really identified any other tool on the market that can do something as well, especially for the price as well. So growth funnel in terms of cross discovery, evaluation, building POC and deployed, that is just great. You can just easily jump in, see who's there, who are the latest ones, download the list, and then find out a little bit more, take some columns out, and then just put into Apollo or manually target them, usually like LinkedIn and measuring it that way. So yeah, just using that funnel and using the segments as well as cut out a lot of the noise. So I'd have ones that would have over 10 developers using us, and that was, it's quite helpful as well. So the more developers that are using us, the more chance that they are seriously evaluating us or even are deployed. We were using the competitor analysis across there. We were measuring their repos. That was tremendously valuable, and I see us probably within this year using that again. It's just it used our credits quite fast because we were looking at a lot of competitors' repos, and if we see anyone evaluating it, we'll just probably use that to send advertisements towards them, so to get our name in the picture as well. So when they're evaluating our competitors, so we see that being a major growth factor as well. But right now we're just it's really just on the deployed and building POC side that we're having the main focus on. Oh, like 100%, 100% likely. I've already recommended to some other kind of friends maybe working on some open source things, but like they're probably a bit on the smaller side. But yeah, it was recommended to me by a previous colleague, and I think and we were also selling open source DevTool solutions. So I think if we had known about this, I think it was probably early days because you guys have grown so fast. But yeah, if we had known, I would have definitely purchased it then. But yeah, it's great to see how quickly Reo.Dev has developed as well. It's been a cool experience seeing that. The support and everything like that has been tremendous, and really helpful too. So just keep doing what you're doing. It seems like Reo.Dev is killing it, growing insanely fast. Yeah, as I can say, is the support and the conversations I'm having on Slack with you guys is great, and I just really appreciate that as a customer as well. So hopefully we'll be a customer for years to come.